Get ready to live fearlessly free with Heather Bunch.
Did you say yes to Father's dream? But now you're wondering, did I hear him right? Because this dream thing doesn't look anything like what I thought it would look like. Do you ever feel worn down by the resistance, the slow sales, the doubts, the lack of support, and you wonder, should I just quit? Are you in a season where your dream feels stalled out and you're asking, where do I even go from here? Well, what if I told you the way you carry your dream in this stuck season means just as much as the milestones you're chasing? Welcome to Live Fearlessly Free podcast. I'm your courageous coach, Heather Bunch, and I am here to help you, Christian women, solopreneurs, go from feeling stuck, not enough, and even fearful, to feeling focused, confident, and taking courageous action. We are literally growing ourselves so we can grow our business and we can live the dream that God has put in our heart. And speaking of dreams, we are starting a brand new series called Dreamer's Journey. It is all about God's dream that He has given us and how He is growing us into the person that can actually carry that dream. So over the next few weeks, what we're going to do is we're actually going to unpack the life of Joseph, my favorite dreamer in Scripture, and we are going to talk about his dream and the pit, the prison, and finally the palace, which was his purpose. And each part of his journey is going to speak directly to us. So today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about when your dream, it doesn't match reality. Because, every time you hit resistance, you pivot, or maybe be in a stuck season, you're actually standing at a new starting line. And how you carry your dream at that new starting line, that is going to shape how you're going to live out the rest of the journey. So today's going to be for you if you've already said yes, but maybe doubt is whispering, did you miss God? And if you've ever felt weighted down by resistance, maybe you've wondered, is it even worth this? I have got you covered, my friend. And if you're ready to stop waiting for just the right conditions to be oh so perfect before you get moving again, this episode is for you. I remember my yes to God's dream when He put it in my heart. Now I'm going to say my yes came several years later. And it came when I was sitting doing an exercise called the deathbed exercise. It was in a book called The 7 Decisions by Andy Andrews, one of the top 3 books that changed my life. 7 Decisions by Andy Andrews. And I'm doing this deathbed exercise. And I actually had to write my eulogy. And I had to, write out all the things I wanted to be known for. These lovely things that I wanted people to say when I had moved on to glory, right? And so I get through answering all the questions he had, and then I shape it into this eulogy, and I read it back to myself, of course. And first of all, I thought, we should do this when people are alive, because, it'd be really nice to hear these things when you're actually alive, rather than you're dead, and you're like, I got no idea what they're saying. It doesn't matter to me now. But the second thing I thought, after I weeped through my presentation, because it was so moving, I thought, nobody could actually say one of these things about me because I am not doing anything towards my dream. I am stuck. And I was stuck at the starting point. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to start a blog. So I said yes to writing a weekly blog while I was still working full-time at a church. So years go by, I start to get a little tired. tired of not seeing results, tired of not having, hardly any subscribers. And so skipped a week. Nobody really noticed. Nobody said anything. I started to skip more weeks here and there. And eventually I get to the point, I remember being frustrated and just telling Bob, I'm like, I just really feel like this whole dream thing is fruitless. It's pointless. Why am I doing this? I do not feel like I'm making a difference. And in this frustrating moment, it actually led to my husband introducing me to Lisa Jenkins of Take Action Coaching. And through Lisa, I got my coaching certification because Bob thought, you know what? I bet you'd make a good life coach. And that started this journey of where I'm helping people one-on-one. Now I'm still writing, but here's the thing. It was still the same dream of helping people get unstuck and live their God-given purpose. But it was like I was on a new journey. In reality, it was like a new starting line called coaching. Now, Joseph had a dream, 2 of them, in fact. And in those dreams, he saw himself in this place of influence. But his story didn't start there. Just like you've already said yes to the dream. You are on the journey. And maybe right now, it doesn't look anything like the vision that God showed you. And that is because the dream is not the finish line. It is the starting line of your becoming. I'm going to say that again. It is the starting line of your becoming. You see, Father is more interested in who we become on this solopreneur journey than how fast we hit the milestones. In my journey of blogging and my, hey, I'm not seeing results, so I started getting inconsistent. That action, I could not continue to do that and be able to carry the dream that Father was calling me to. And when he made that shift to the new starting line and the coaching, I had to step it up in who I was becoming in order to be able to carry that extra load of being able to coach people. And honestly, that's where all my fainting came in, which I'll save that for another day. But our dream is not the finish line. It is the starting line of our becoming. Philippians 1:6, for I am confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work among you will complete it by the day of Jesus Christ. Our Father began a good work in you when you said yes. You said yes to this journey. You said yes to the dream. And each stuck season, each pivot we have to make, each back to square one moment is really a new starting line. And how we carry the dream in those moments set the tone for everything that's going to come next. Now, that is why today we are talking about what do you do when your dream does not match your reality? Because if you misinterpret the beginning and you're expecting instant results, if you allow resistance to shut you down, you get frustrated because you don't have the whole map, you're going to be tempted to give up, like I was with blogging. But if you embrace the start as a seed, it's a spark, it's a compass, then you'll step into the becoming that Father has designed for you, my friend. So if this dream is a seed, where does that seed even come from? Let's go to Joseph's story to show us. Now, the first lesson that I want to give you is one, God plants the dream. That's what we're about to see in Joseph's story. I'm going to take you to Genesis 37, verses 5 through 7. Then Joseph had a dream. And when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. And he said to them, please listen to this dream which I have had. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. Now, sheaves were like these bundles of grain that were sticking up. And he said, behold, my sheaf stood up and remained standing. And behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf. Now, Joseph did not invent this dream. Father planted it in him, and he even confirmed it with a second dream that we'll share in a moment. Now, you have already said yes to yours. You've said yes to your dream. But right now, are you doubting it? You might be. That's okay. You didn't make it up. Father planted it in you. So maybe you launched your coaching practice, or you wrote your first draft of your book, and you're sitting there, you're questioning, did I really hear from God? The very fact that you said yes, I think is proof the dream was planted by Father. Here is how you know, though. I'm going to give you some practicals on how to know, is this God's dream? Number one, does it align with his word? You know, God never gives us a dream that's going to contradict Scripture. Number two, does it serve others and not just yourself? Now, Joseph's dream helped Joseph, but ultimately it saved nations. It wasn't just about boosting his ego and being number one in the nation. It was about saving people's lives. So does your dream serve others? Number three, does it require faith? If you can do it on your own and in your own strength, that dream's too small, my friend. I'm going to be honest. I kind of like small goals because I feel like I could do it, because I don't like that feeling of, my gosh, I have zippo idea how to do that. But the fact that your dream is too big for you to do on your own, that's a God dream. I have dreams in my heart of creating these huge now huge, I don't mean necessarily in numbers, because I want to create these experiential events that we go around the world and we have these moments and it's completely immersive and it's these learning experiences. And it's going to take a team. It's going to take money. It's going to take creativity. It is way bigger than me on my own. I cannot pull it off on my own. But that fact right there helps me know, because it is going to require faith to get it done. It's a God dream, my friend. And the fourth thing is this. Does it produce fruit? Does it produce fruit? Are there people being helped? Is it giving peace? Is it giving joy? Is it giving you a sense of alignment with how Father created you? Like, you don't want to feel like I'm this, round peg and trying to fit into a square hole, right? That's not God's best. That's not his dream. There should be this beautiful alignment that creates fruit, it produces good things. So that's how you know if it's a God dream. Now, Dr. Andrew Huberman, he's a Stanford neuroscientist, and I love his podcast. If you like sciencey things and neuroscience, and he has a podcast called the Huberman Labs. Love his podcast. But he teaches that when you imagine the future, your brain lights up as if it's already possible. Now, that doesn't tell you whether the dream's from God. What it does explain is that once God plants that dream in you, it feels alive and it's pulling you forward. You see, God has designed your brain to run with the vision that he gave you. Isn't that cool? So the start matters, because the dream isn't proof of your ability to be able to do it. No, it is proof of God's intention. of what God wants to work in you so he can work through you. But just because God plants a dream doesn't mean everybody else is going to see it that way. Wouldn't that be nice if they did? No, Joseph learned the hard way, and, we get to too. So the second thing is this: resistance often comes early. So let's go back to Genesis 37. This is verse 8 and 11. And then his brothers said to him, after he shares the dream, "Are you actually going to reign over us? Or are you really going to rule over us?" So they hated him, hated it all the more because of his dream and his words. And his father actually rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream you've had? Am I and your mother and your brothers actually going to come and bow down to the ground to you?" You see, Joseph had actually had a second dream where the sun and the moon actually bowed down to him. So not only did, in the stars, so not only did his brothers bow down, now his father and his mother's is bowing down. Joseph's brothers hated him. His father rebuked him. Opposition came early. You know what this feels like. Launching, and maybe you just hearing crickets. Chirp, 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 chirp. Maybe you raised your prices and you're getting pushback. Or maybe you have got family members, they just don't get it. They do not understand you. What the heck are you trying to do? Why are you on this TikTok thing? Why are you always saying this? What do you think, you're better than us? Because you're growing and you're changing? Resistance doesn't mean that dream is dead. Resistance doesn't mean that dream is bad. No, remember, it's from God. Resistance is actually proof you're on the right track. So maybe you finally ran your first coaching program, a group program. You used to go solo. Now you're doing a group program. And only 2 people signed up. That resistance, that can feel like failure. But it's not. It's actually shaping you, my friend. There is a neuroscientist, Naomi Eisenberg, and she showed that rejection lights up the same brain regions as physical pain. That is why pushback hurts so much. Like, physically hurts. And then you add in negativity bias. Now, negativity bias is our brain's tendency to focus on criticism more than encouragement. Anybody besides me do that one? And resistance feels louder than your progress. But that doesn't mean you're off track. It means that you're actually stepping in to the growth. You have got to push into the growth, lean into the growth, lean into the resistance. There's actually even a book. It's Jay Bear. I think it's Jay Bear. I know his last name's Bear. Hug your haters. Lean into that. The start matters because resistance is not rejection. What it is doing, though, is refining ground where your courage is being formed. The courage that allows you to keep moving forward, even when there's resistance, even when things aren't working right. And we're going to go even more into that in a later episode. If resistance makes you question things like, shouldn't this be easier by now? Joseph's story, my friend, reminds us that their dream was never meant to be an instant destination. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? So number 3 is this: the dream is a direction, not a destination. Genesis 37:9. And then he had yet another dream, and he informed his brothers of it. And behold, I have yet had another dream, and the sun and the moon, the 11 stars were bowing down to me. Joseph saw what? So he saw this dream. But when you look at that dream, it didn't give the how. How in the world is he going to get to being like the second youngest brother to this place of influence? I don't know. He didn't know. He just knew he had a dream. He had a direction. You might know Father's called you to serve through your business. Maybe even to have a bigger platform. But maybe the how just keeps shifting on you and you're like, what is going on? It doesn't mean the dream failed. Just like with me, and I was blogging and I was like, meh, and struggling with it. And I shift to coaching and now I'm thriving. And even later, when I was individually coaching and I wanted to shift to a group coaching, my group coaching, I had 0 sign up the first time until I shifted it into a membership. These were all like new starting lines. The dream was still the same. I didn't have the direction all right at the beginning, just like Joseph. And you might not either. The direction is the same, but the method is what shifts. How we do it can change, and that's okay. Dr. Carolyn Leaf explains with neuroplasticity, your brain changes through repeated thought and action. So, what that means is the process itself of all this change and shift is shaping you. God doesn't give you the full blueprint. I wish you would. It would be awesome and amazing, but He doesn't because it's step by step rewiring your thinking, rewiring your identity in order for you to be able to carry the dream. We're going to go later into Joseph's life because Joseph didn't go straight from dream to palace. There was a whole process he had to go through. And so I'm pretty sure if God would have showed him, hey, you're going to have this dream, but then you're going to end up going through all this crap in the meantime before you actually get to, Joseph might not have said yes. How about you? I think sometimes if I would have known more up front, I probably would have been like, yeah, you can keep that. Listen, the dream is a direction, not a destination. What it is all about is God transforming us into the person that can carry the dream. It is all about our becoming. The start matters because the dream is not instant arrival. Again, it is about becoming the kind of woman who can carry the dream, who can walk the journey all the way through, who can finish. Well done, my good and faithful servant. We got to be able to be the kind of person that could finish. It's not about getting to the finish line. It's about who we're becoming on our way to the finish line. So here's what all this means. Every time you feel stuck, every time you feel sidelined, every time you feel ready to quit, and I have been there and I still have these moments, my friend, you're actually at a fresh starting line. I want you to visualize that. You're stuck, you feel sidelined. Boom, new starting line. And how you carry that dream in this moment and what you do next is going to help set the course for what comes next in your journey. So, number 1, let's recap. God plans to dream. You didn't make this up. Father planted it. Neuroscience even shows your brain is wired to move towards what God showed you. Number 2, resistance often comes early. Resistance is useless. Pushback hurts. That was a movie quote, by the way. If you can name that, please let me know because that would make my heart happy if you knew what that was from. Pushback hurts. It literally hurts our brain. Negativity bias mixed together makes it feel louder than our progress. But resistance doesn't cancel your dream. What it's doing, it's shaping you. And the third thing is this: dream is a direction, not a destination. So the dream is pointing you forward. But now it's this process where God is rewiring your thinking. He's rewiring your identity. He is creating you as the person that can carry this beautiful dream and journey. So here's the big picture. Let's look at this. You've already said yes. Now it may feel like my dream It does not look anything like what I'm dealing with right now. It doesn't look anything like my reality. I thought it would be easier than this. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means, boom, you're at a fresh starting line, and that's okay. Now, we're going to keep moving forward so we can head towards that direction that God has put in our heart. So let's do some courageous action. This week, I want you to take one step to reframe your stuck as a new start. Okay? So number one, do this. Write down the dream that Father planted in you. Write it down again. Make it plain. Habakkuk talks about that. Write the vision, make it plain. You might have it written somewhere else. That's great. I want you to rewrite it. Write the dream. I want you to see it. I want you to look at it. I want you to pray over it. And then beside that, I want you to write the resistance that you're feeling right now. Is it doubt? Is it slow progress? Is it lack of support? Is it you're feeling just procrastination? You're feeling the imposter syndrome? Whatever it is, write that down. The third thing is then ask, how could this resistance be shaping me into the person who can carry the dream further? How can this resistance be shaping me into the person who can carry the dream further? I want you to do those courageous action steps this week, my friend. Now, I love dreams, and dreams are beautiful. But you know what? They are not meant to stay dreams. Sometimes people are just like, I got this dream and I want to do this, and that's all they do is ever talk about dreams. They're meant to become courageous action. So we can do what? So we can finish. So we can get to the finish line. That is why I am so excited, because soon, very soon, my friend, I will be opening my doors to Courageous Club again. It is a safe place where women like you move from stuck dreams to confident action takers. We are walking out our God-given vision that He's put in our heart. So keep listening for the announcement. Let you know as soon as the doors are open. Next time in our Dreamer's Journey, we are going to talk about the pit, the prison, and the pain, because Joseph had a lot of that going on, my friend, and so do we. But what do we do when the setbacks make you wonder if your dream is over? What are we going to do? We're going to talk about that next time. You have got this, my friend, and Father has got you. I just want to thank you a bunch for listening or for watching. Until next time, live fearlessly free.